Mike Robbins here with my first video blog post in, gosh, I don't know, maybe 2 years or more. I'm up early this morning and I just did a Facebook Live podcast interview with some guys in the Midwest and it went well. And then I realized I haven't made a video in a long time, and there's a couple reasons for it. First of all, I got a new computer and haven't really figured out how to do the video recording, even though my Mac is so great. And I'm still trying to figure out how to do Facebook Live videos here on my laptop. I know I can do them on my phone. Anyway, whatever that's all about, I just thought I'd make a little video here this morning to say hello. And I wanted to talk a little bit about my new book, Bring Your Whole Self to Work. It comes out in, in 3 weeks. May 1st, it officially comes out. I have a few advance copies here in the office. You can pre-order the book right now at mike-robbins.com/work. And when you do that, you'll get some free audio programs that I just created in connection with the book. But I thought I'd talk a little bit this morning about putting ourselves out there. And I've been thinking a lot about this in general and, with my new book coming out. And even though this is my fourth book and I'm really excited about it, and I've had a ton of help and support with it, it's such an interesting experience to put myself out there. And I think for all of us to put ourselves out there, it's funny. I was sharing this with a friend of mine the other day and just saying, I can't quite figure out, I've done this before. I know this drill, so to speak. I know a lot of these feelings. Why do I still feel like I want to throw up all the time? And I think it's just the nature of vulnerability. Dr. Brené Brown defines vulnerability as emotional exposure, risk, and uncertainty. Emotional exposure, risk, and uncertainty. And one of the questions that she often asks, and I like to ask this question, is can you think of anything meaningful or important that you've ever accomplished or experienced in your life that did not involve emotional exposure, risk, and uncertainty? I can't think of anything. I mean, the stuff that really matters to us, personally, professionally, it involves us putting ourselves out there. It involves us making ourselves vulnerable. It involves, emotional exposure, risk, and uncertainty. And what if that wasn't a bad thing? What if we didn't resist that so much? What if we didn't make up all kinds of stories in our brains, as I often do, about how that's bad, or I got to figure this out, or I got to protect myself from this, or, instead of just embracing that experience and putting ourselves out there and being willing to see what happens, being willing to play, being willing to say yes, being willing to take a risk, even if we fail and fall down. It's easier said than done, but I think of a story I've probably shared before. Maybe you've heard me talk about it, when Samantha, our now 12-year-old daughter, our oldest, when she first learned how to walk. I remember the experience of, she was about 13 months and I'd been really trying to encourage her to walk, and she wasn't really all that into it. But then one night, it was like a Monday night, we were just playing around in our living room and I was holding her hands and walking her across the room. And whenever I would do that, I'd let go and say, walk. And then she'd squat down to the floor. And it's funny, we were doing it. I'm walking her across the room and I would let go and I said, walk. And she took 3 or 4 steps and she fell down. And I was like, oh, wow, she did it. And I looked around to see if Michelle, my wife, was anywhere. And Michelle had been kind of getting mad at me, stop bugging her. She'll walk when she walks. And I was like, okay. So then I tried it again to see, was it just sort of an anomaly or would she really do it? And she pulled her, let go. She took 4 or 5 more steps. She fell down. And I called, Michelle, come in, come quick, come get the camera. And we started walking. I started walking with her across the room and I'd let go and she would take 6 or 7 or 8 steps and then she'd fall. And I mean, it was this really beautiful experience. And if you have children or you've been around a child when they learn how to walk, it's pretty amazing to see them get it. And Rosie, our younger daughter, actually, it was very different. But with Samantha, she really got it in that instant and that night. And she started doing it and she started walking and we were having this great time. And we called, Michelle's dad and stepmom and had grandma and grandpa come over because it was a really big deal. And of course, she was our first. But the thing that was amazing was watching her walk and watching her fall. And, carpet in the living room, and she was totally safe and wasn't hurting herself, of course. But as she would fall, we would cheer, just, hey, you did it, hey, and she would cheer as she was sitting on the floor and we'd help her up, and she'd do it again and do it again. And often when I think about that experience, or I share that, or I think, gosh, imagine if we had to do that now as adults. We'd probably get up, try to walk, fall down, get up again, fall maybe once or twice. After about the third time, we'd probably just lay on the floor and say, you know what, I'm good. I'm not a walker. It's not my thing. Because there's that level of judgment, self-judgment, or embarrassment, or fear, or like what would people say, or comparing ourselves to others and doing all of that, when really it's just the joy of trying something, of putting ourselves out there, of being willing to take that risk. I've been feeling this over these last number of months, and particularly last couple of weeks, and we just launched, our new website and started letting people know they could pre-order my new book, and it's very exciting, and I'm looking forward to the launch of the book on May 1st and all the activity that's going on around that. And I also notice that it's scary, right? It's that, what if I fall down? What if it doesn't go well? What if the feedback isn't, all the, fears and doubts and thoughts. And even though I've gone through this experience before and I know what this feels like, what's amazing about vulnerability is it's an in-the-moment experience. It's am I willing to take the risk right now? And when we think about risks from the past, maybe we can look back and say, well, I had a lot of courage and I did that. But again, we have to risk things again in the moment. And that's what life's about. That's what parenting's about. That's what business is about. That's what leadership is about. That's what relationship, the things that matter. It's about putting ourselves out there and being willing to feel all of those feelings and do it anyway. So wherever you are in this journey right now, if you're in the midst of putting yourself out there in some way and it's feeling scary, if you just did that and it didn't go well and you're regretting it, or you did and it did go well and you're celebrating it, or you're wanting to or hoping to or thinking about it, which I think we all are at some level all the time. Could I do that? Should I try that? What will happen if I do? I just want to say it's okay to feel whatever you feel. And the discomfort, the nervousness, the butterflies in the stomach, that's all just part of the process. And so I honor you wherever you are on that journey, and encourage you and me to just remember that we're human, and feeling nervous and uncomfortable about putting ourselves out there is part of the deal, and it means we're doing something exciting, something that matters. And if we can just embrace that and have more peace with ourselves in the process, not only will we be less stressed out, but I think we're more likely to be successful and ultimately fulfilled in the process. So thanks for watching. It was fun to make a video for the first time in a while. I'll be doing more videos. I'm going to, again, try to figure out the Facebook Live thing so I can do these live and you can interact while I'm doing them. But feel free to stay in touch with me. And again, if you go to mike-robbins.com/work, you can pre-order a copy of my new book, Bring Your Whole Self to Work. And there I am, putting myself out there.